talk about finally getting that call, getting that opportunity to get cast in Star Wars. You got cast in The Mandalorian, and I love this story, and I want you to tell it for the folks that are watching today.
Well, it started in 2018, and I'd been invited to the Unforgettable Gala in Los Angeles. And the Unforgettable Gala is basically it's a celebration of Asian Americans in the media. And Kim's Convenience had sort of arrived, and we were on the radar, and the show was doing really good things and was critically acclaimed. So we got invited down, and so I was down, and I'd never been to LA before. And there I was at the Beverly Hilton, which, you only watching, you've seen it on TV, you've heard about it, and they do the Emmys and they do the Golden Globes there. And I'm like this Canadian kid who's there going, wow, okay, here we are. And this woman jumps in front of me and she goes, Paul, do you remember who I am? And I look, and it's my friend, Debra Chow. I hadn't seen Debra in 25 years. Now, Debra Chow is a director who is a director. And she directed episodes of The Mandalorian, but she's also, like, right now she's working on the Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Yes, she
right?
is.
That's kind of her baby right there. So that's her cred. But Debra and I, 25 years ago, worked at the Factory Theatre in Toronto, Ontario. It's a small theater company that was going bankrupt, basically. That's how we met. And she was an aspiring filmmaker, and I was an aspiring actor. She asked me to be in a short film of hers. I agreed. We shot it. She disappeared. Next time I see her is at the Unforgettable Gala. So I'm saying to Deb, where have you been? What are you doing? She says, well, that short film got me into Columbia Film School. So she went there, became a director, and now she's working in Hollywood. And I said, well, what are you working on? She says, a show called The Mandalorian. And my jaw drops, right? So, oh my God, you're working on it? I didn't know you were working. I'm so excited for the show. She said, well, that's great. Because I've been trying to get in touch with you because Dave Filoni is a big fan of yours, of Kim's Convenience, because of Kim's Convenience. And he's thinking about, he wants to write something for you. He's writing something for you. And I was just like, you have those moments where you just sort of black out a little bit, I could have swear, like, my nose could have started bleeding. I was just like, oh my God. And so, that's when I grabbed Deborah's elbow very gently, but I said, you do realize I have like 8 Star Wars cosplays at home. She's like, what? And I said, so I show her these pictures on my phone, and then costumes for the 501st, basically, and some for the Rebel Legion. And Deb's like, oh my God, I can send these to me. I'm going to send them over to Dave. So she texts them to Dave, and Dave right away responds, says, well, you could just wear his costumes to work.
Exactly. You're ready to wear. You're ready to go.
So it was great. I got invited to the set for a season. Had to fly back from LA to LA like a few weeks later, and I got to the set, and I got to meet Dave, and I got to see Debra work, and Dave work as well. I met Jon Favreau. I saw the volume for the first time. I saw Baby Grogu for the first time, and this was like, what is that?
What is actually going on here?
I know it was like, Alice in Wonderland, Cinderella, all these, that peek behind the curtain at Oz. You're looking at all the machinations. Seeing them work on that was just so trippy, because as a lifelong Star Wars fan, to have access like that early on was just mind-blowingly awesome. And then I had to sit on it for like months, right? Because it's all don't tell anybody. But Dave was a consummate host as well, because like he gave me a backstage tour of all the the costume department, the arts department, the props department, and I stayed and I sat in that props trailer for like an hour and a half. Like that was,
they would have had to drag me out.
Man, so is it. It is. You're there, and I'm talking with Josh and Yang, and they're showing me. So I got to hold a blaster that was used. I think it was one of the blasters that a skiff guard used in Return of the Jedi. I can't remember the designation. It's not DH-17 or something like that. Close, or DL-17. Anyways, it's based on an air pistol, basically, okay. Right? And I'm looking and going, oh my God, I know where that's from. I know what that is. And then I went home just like completely stupefied by the whole event. Like my life could have ended there, and I think it would have been good. It would have been like, yeah, I did it. That's cool. A few months later, I'm at an Earth rally, across the globe. There was that big thing where every Friday, their major cities were shutting down.
Right.
They're protesting, we need action on climate change.
Sure.
And I was part of that. And my phone rings. And that was a surreal day to begin with. My phone rings and my agent's on the line. She says, so Lucasfilm called and asked for your availability. And again, the moment of like, I just blacked out. Right? It's like, well, yes, I'll be there. I don't care what I'm doing. I will change it. And yeah, that's how it got started. So it was an offer, yeah, from Lucasfilm to play the role of back then they had code names, so it was like
Okay.
Foodie Pilot 1. It's like, who the heck is what is that? I didn't understand. And that became for me an introduction into the world of, you know, the Cloak and Dagger world of disguising names and productions and characters to prevent leaks
Absolutely.
from happening, right? So I flew down to Los Angeles to do my to shoot. It was one of like I had 4 days of shooting. They fly me down to Los Angeles from Toronto. It's like a 5-hour flight. I land. I look out the window. There's a jet that's wrapped in Star Wars colors. Like one of the airlines had done that. And I thought, wow, that's a great omen, right? And I land.
Absolutely.
I get whisked away right from the. It was such a short period of time. I got whisked away right from the airport straight to the costume department. And I built this costume before. Like I have it. Like I have my own cosplay, my Rebel Pilot cosplay. And so I'm very familiar with it, but this one was a tailor-made jumpsuit, which is just like, whoa, hey, look at that. It's great. And putting it together. And there's another side story about how I helped help the costumers figure out the ejection harness on it. And my head is spinning because I'm actually there getting fitted for an X-Wing pilot helmet costume and, you know, helping them put it together, which was awesome. And they said, okay, well, we need to take reference photos now. So we know, you know, how it's supposed to look. So the day on set, but we don't have your helmet because it's being painted right now. So we've got the stand-in helmet. And I pull out this Rubbermaid tin, bin, not a tin.
Yeah.
And there's a helmet in there. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, it's not Luke's helmet, but I know the design. And I stop and I go, is that what I think it is? And the wardrobe people are like, yeah. It's like, that's Biggs Darklighter's helmet. So how did you know? And because I'm a nerd. How do I
This
know?
is what I do.
And I said, so is that the actual screen used helmet? And they're like, yeah. And put it on. So I pick it up and I look inside and it's got, you know, it's old. And the foam is like, it's all yellowed and it's sort of eaten away. And it's got this little sticker name tag in it. And it's, you know, Garrick Hagon. And that's the name of the actor who played Biggs Darklighter.
Absolutely.
And I started to cry. Because like I said before, I was 5 years old when I saw that movie. It had such an impact on me. And I did not expect on that day that I would, let alone be wearing it, the touching or seeing something that was up on the screen that affected me so immensely. And I had to put it on. And I had tears in my eyes. And it was just such a transcendental moment for me because, you know, 43 years later, I'm wearing this thing on my head. I'm living the dream. And I don't believe it. Like that's I felt so blessed and grateful. And I was not expecting you know, I kind of thought, hey, it's gonna be cool, we're gonna have lots of fun. And this was just like, I did not expect to get that emotional. And that was not the first time I shed a tear while I was on that set, you know. And I don't think I'm the only one to ever go through this because the wardrobe people were saying, yeah, this happens.
It's unbelievable, and I can't